What up, people? Welcome to the Push Wild Black Show. I'm your host, Christian, and this is an impromptu Cowboys podcast. So, Cowboys lost 22-30 to the Rams, and Minyon Garrett from the Rant Sport Fitness, de facto co-host during these playoffs and contributor to the Push Wild Black Show. He called me. Sometimes his best reactions to stuff is right then and there. So I hit the record button. We had thoughts. It was a good 45-minute conversation or so about the Cowboys and about what they're going to do this season and about the game and about the problems of the game. So yeah, man, this was an impromptu show, but I think it's a good one. But anyway, I will see y'all when these other games are done. I might not do a show with Minyon to do a divisional one. I'm going to see if I can try to get him to do one like Monday or something, or Sunday evening. But I don't know, because I think he kind of said what he wants his Super Bowl predictions to be as far as matchups go in this pod. I'm gonna see after like the games that we can get like a quick 5 or 10 minute joint just to get the divisional predictions. But I don't know. I might end up doing those myself and then go from there. But anyway, enjoy this 43 minutes or so of us ranting about the Cowboys. Cowboy Nation, what are we going to do? Anyway, and I'm not even part of Cowboy Nation, man. But it's just, I watch these people. You know, I watch the Cowboys. I've been in Texas for almost 20 years. And I'm a Bears fan to the fullest. But, you know, it's the Cowboys, man. And I've been watching them for a while. And it's frustrating to see them do what they do. Anyway, hope y'all enjoy. Later.
Okay, I don't know, as far as the Dallas Cowboys go, I don't know what I just watched. I have no idea what I just watched. Defense didn't come to play. The offense was what I expected. Just a bunch of running around.
Not knowing what they're doing.
Not knowing what they're doing. Decided to use Zeke in the passing game, late in the game. Dak Prescott, no read option. I mean, there was nothing there that screamed that they wanted to win that game.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far because I saw the game as well. I was talking to a mutual friend of ours and trying to explain, and I was listening. I was listening to the Cowboys post game, and he was saying Jesse Holley, my favorite analyst, in that city, is said the same thing, and I've been saying it I've been saying this point for years. Jason Garrett isn't a good coach. Although I don't think that the reason that they lost that game was necessarily because of Garrett, but I'm going to second what Jesse Holley said about the whole situation. Either you're going to keep Dak and fire Jason, or you're going to keep Jason and fire Dak. They cannot work well together. You mentioned that. I'm seeing it. There's no point.
Yeah, from what I gathered from the game, they were not on the same page, and I don't care what they're saying. They were not on the same page. I mean, from the beginning of the game until the fourth quarter, they were never on the right track.
No.
Nothing.
No.
I mean, what they did what I expected them to do. Start to try to dominate in the fourth quarter. That's what I expected. I didn't expect them to win the first quarter. I didn't expect them to win the second or the third. I said they're gonna do their best to try to win the fourth quarter. And the defense is gonna have to play lights out. This to me, as a Dallas fan, I'm not coming from a fan standpoint right now. I'm coming from just a pure football standpoint. They played terrible, man. They really did. They played terrible, and they lost the game. There was nothing there that said we beat the Saints. Nothing there that said we beat the Saints. There was no fight. There was no bullying. There was nothing there. They couldn't stop the run. They couldn't stop the pass. They couldn't stop anything.
Well, actually, they didn't really need to stop the pass because they ran the ball for 278 yards. Like
they did.
They purposely kept the ball out of. Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. They purposely kept the ball out of the quarterback's hands. Like Jared Goff didn't. Like they basically decided to hit the Cowboys in the mouth. Period. And they were like, it was almost like McVay was like, all right, Jared Goff, we're not gonna have you do a lot. We're just gonna let our two running backs make an appearance, and yeah.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, when I say stop the pass and stop the run, the passing yards they got were crucial.
Right.
Those are daggers.
Right.
Because they weren't throwing the ball. They weren't throwing like rinky-dink passes. They were throwing passes 15 yards, 20 yards. When it gets like that, those are daggers. Those are daggers coming at you.
Right.
The running game, that's consistency and constant just, okay, I'm going to run through you now.
Right.
That's what that was. But those passes, though, 15, 20 yards here, I mean, that kills you. That kills you. Because that's giving you, that's pretty much giving them first down, getting them at 32, getting them at 2nd and 2, things like that. I mean, football is a game of inches, man, and they won that. They won it. They went from okay, we're gonna run the ball, get these inches, and then we're gonna go ahead and get the yards.
Yeah.
With the power, we're gonna get these yards. And they hit them in the mouth every time. They were hitting them in the mouth every time. There was not. I mean, I didn't see any takeaways from Dallas. There was no fumble recoveries for Dallas. I mean, there was nothing defensively. Dallas played terrible.
I mean, but like I said though, because if you look at Jared Goff threw the ball 28 times. He completed 15 to 28 for 186 yards. Like, their game was basically the running game. And to be quite honest, like that last 12 rushing yards was by that 12 rushing yards by Goff to get that first down. That was crucial. You know what I'm saying? Like bro, it was 278 yards. You know what I'm saying? Like you had C.J. Anderson was at 123 yards. Todd Gurley had 115 yards. Dude, like they basically bullied the defensive line. Period. Like there's no. The Cowboys aren't I'm gonna punch the ball out of the hands of the receiver and the running back. I'm gonna get you the fourth down and then punt. They don't take away. You have a corner. You have a couple corners that can get interceptions, but they weren't throwing the ball down the field. They neutralized the secondary, and the secondary has always had issues. There's been a good second from the games that I've seen. There's been a good secondary. You've had a couple corners that make some plays. They took the ball out of Jared Goff's hands.
Yeah, I gathered that. But nevertheless, man, the running game killed them, and those passing yards. See, that's the thing. Those passing yards weren't quiet. In a sense, to me, they weren't quiet. That was huge.
I can get what you're saying, but the glaring, and this is just there's no debate here, but it just seems like to me they were timely. I'm not gonna say they weren't quiet, but they were timely. You know what I'm saying? Like Goff was able to complete the passes when he needed them to, but it wasn't like, all right, we're like
it wasn't an air assault,
right?
But the thing is, it wasn't an air assault, but it was an assault. It was an assault gradually.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was an assault gradually that pretty much made the difference in this game. Because it was the running game, yeah. But from an overall standpoint, when you look at the passing yards and you look at the rushing yards, the passing yards were daggers, bro. Like, I mean, it could be a 3rd and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a 3rd and 2. It was a 3rd and 2 at one point.
Mm-hmm.
He dropped back the pass for a 25-yard pass.
Right.
And completed it.
Right.
And it's like, okay, that's a dagger. Now they turn around, run the ball for 8 yards, then 7, then 5, then 10. Then here he goes again, drop back the pass. Here's a 15-yard pass that he just completed.
Right.
I mean, it was a gradual. I would say it was a gradual slaughter of the Cowboys in this game. They picked them apart, bro.
And yet they still only lost by 8 points. Like it was you still have. Again, I was talking to a mutual friend, and like he called me during the game, and he's like, "Man, he was mad. He was like, "Man, I'm worried, man. I don't know what we're doing." And then I think you're down by 2 touchdowns, and I'm like, "Well, you're down by 10." Or no, they were down by 2 touchdowns. They were down by the 2 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion. So I was like, okay, it's 7 minutes left. You still have an opportunity. The game isn't over yet. Like it seemed like people were worried, like in the 3rd quarter, and I'm like, there's still time. There's still time because really, even though statistically it looked dominating, and what you're saying is if the game was dominating by the Rams, and I agree, but the Cowboys were in it. You know what I'm saying? Even though the game was dominating. And I've seen games like this where it's like, even though the game is close, it wasn't as close as the score and the actual game looked like it was. But it just seemed like, I don't know, man. My issue is with the Cowboys, Dak Prescott is a problem for me. He just is. I like him. I think he's a good dude. I think he can be a good quarterback. He's just in the wrong system. It isn't meshing. And to me, it seemed like they gave the ball to Zeke and they stopped him from running. And once they stopped him from running, it was like, okay, Dak, we're going to give you the ball now and we're going to let you beat us. And it's even though Dak has some good stats. You know what I'm saying? Even though, like, he threw for almost 300 yards, didn't throw an interception, and threw a touchdown, I don't feel like he can lead the Cowboys to a championship, dude. Like I don't. Not in this offense. Like it was almost kind of like, all right, we gotta give Dak the ball now, and we gotta kind of see what we can do. And it just seemed like they're not utilizing him correctly. He didn't run the ball. He didn't run the ball himself, although there were times where it's better for him to run the ball, to me, than handing it to Zeke all the time. There's more, that adds another weapon to him, to that team. But it just seemed like, to me, there's something not right with this offense. And it's sad because there's going to be games, and this was one of them, where the defense is going to get tired, man. They basically hit the Cowboys in the mouth, and they couldn't respond.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
They tired the Cowboys out. And it's like, okay, our offense was better than your offense.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, they ran the Cowboys in the ground, man, and the Cowboys weren't ready for that. And in my opinion, they were too hyped from the very beginning. I mean, it just was to me, it was a complete mockery, in my opinion. I don't think it should have. I don't think they deserve to win it anyway.
I'm looking at the stats, dude. Bringing back to my running point, I'm looking at the stats, man. Ezekiel Elliott had 20 carries, okay, for 47 yards.
Yeah.
Like, they made sure that dude didn't get his, at all. And Dak only had 2 carries.
Yep.
Now, Jesse Holley dropped a stat on the Fan today where he was saying like they're 28-8. Cowboys are 28-8, and I don't know if I got that right or not. When Dak runs more than 3 times in a game, and they're like 2 and something when he only has 2 carries. The offense needs to be different. Like, there's nothing about this offense that makes me consistently believe that the Cowboys are going to take over a game. Because to be quite honest, man.
No, I never expected them to. I never expected anything from Dallas but what I saw in these games before. I expected the Cowboys to start off trying to win the game in the fourth quarter. I knew that was going to happen. But I thought that Dallas's defense could force some issues with the Rams, with the Rams offense. I thought they could do it.
Right.
It's been proven that they could do it. Tonight, it just didn't happen. I mean, as much as I want to say, that the Cowboys are a good team, they're average. This was Cowboy. At the end of the day, the Cowboys are an average football team that were able to win 8 straight.
Yeah.
An average football team won 8 straight games. That's what we saw. An average football team won 8 games. Wow.
No, there's with the exception of the receiving core. Well, with the exception of the linebacking core and the receiving core, if they throw the ball, see that's another thing. Like, I honestly think that the receiving core would be better if you just have another offense, man. Like, I need some different ways of thinking offensively, dude, because it's there. Like, what's frustrating about watching the Cowboys is like this season, not other seasons where where like this team is garbage, but Romo's been playing, and Romo is like an elite talent, and he puts up all these numbers, and he has Cowboy fans believe that this is our year. You know what I'm saying? Or you have good marketing with Quincy Carter and random average quarterback, and they go 5-11, or those Romo years where they'll have like one good year and then Romo gets hurt, and then they don't really know how to do backup quarterback, so they finish like 5-11 and 6-10 and 7-9. But the division is bad, and it's always like that way. And honestly, the Cowboys were on the way to that season, but Jerry panicked and they got Amari Cooper, and they were able to right the ship, right?
Yeah.
Now, even though they don't want to admit it, the wide receiver by committee, it worked. I will tell you how it worked. Even though Jerry panicked and got Amari Cooper, and Amari Cooper worked out, Michael Gallup is your number one receiver, period. Michael Gallup should be the X receiver, period. He is your most athletic receiver. Amari Cooper is good. I don't know who's gonna listen to this. If somebody does listen to this from the Cowboys, I doubt they're going to listen to me, because Amari Cooper worked, and you can put him in other places. Michael Gallup is your best receiver. You have a receiver. The original plan of wide receiver by committee, it worked because you found out that you got somebody in Michael Gallup. You found out that you got a couple of, even though, the tight end situation isn't the best, and I think you can use a tight end next year, you do have a second or third tight end. The wide receiver by committee thing works because that naturally passes the ball to different people. And there's kind of a connection, at least down the field, with Michael Gallup. He and he can outrun people. Amari Cooper has six. Dude, Amari Cooper has six. Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup was targeted 9 times each. There's a difference. 6 receptions each. Michael Gallup 19 yards. Amari Cooper 65. 1 touchdown for Amari. Now Michael Gallup had a long pass. I think it was in the 4th quarter or something to set up a rushing touchdown. But that's your best receiver. But it's not there. It's not all the way there, man. There's something not connecting right with them.
Well, see, the thing is too, when it goes back to offense, I would say that if they change the system around, if we're saying that if Dak were gone and we got a quarterback in there that was somewhat athletic, that had a good pocket passer presence, we could say that the Cowboys would have a better offense. They would. But see, this year, this is the way I have to look at this. This year, with everything that's been going on with last year and this year, this was like 2 years of trial and error, trial and error, trial and error, trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't supposed to go far. They just weren't. They weren't supposed to go as far as they did.
But see, that's the Minyon. That's the thing, though. Like, no one's allowed to have. Look, the Cowboys are not allowed to have a lost season. This wasn't supposed to, bro. That's the frustrating part. I said it in the beginning of the season, and I've said it before when we've talked about this off air. Dak Prescott is a backup quarterback, period. That's what you drafted him for. Romo gets hurt, Dak ran your stuff. Romo gets hurt, Dak ran your stuff. Romo helps Dak run your stuff. Dak's not a franchise quarterback. This year you had Wynn retire. This year you had Wynn retire. They let Dez go. They were basically like, we're gonna do wide receiver by committee. Remember us doing a show on this. We did wide receiver by committee, right? So it wasn't supposed to. This was supposed to be a year where you give Dak Prescott the ball, Zeke's healthy, everybody's healthy, and you figure out what you have on this offense. And it's like, instead of it being a developmental year and seeing what you have and seeing, okay, let's get an offense to where we can make Dak a better player, or we can like kind of make sure that Dak's build this team around Dak and his skill set. These fools, Dallas Cowboy management, Jerry Jones, the media in Dallas, they were all like, this team is bad, this team is this. This whole season was to see what you had.
Right.
And they couldn't be, and you drafted a quarterback, a linebacker that people didn't know, but you found out was really good. Your linebacking core is really good. You have your defense is healthier. You have a young secondary, one of which I can't think of the person's name right now, but one of which is a really good. Let's see, one of which is a really good Azue.
Yeah.
Can't say
Awuzie.
Yeah, thank you. Awuzie. That's a good corner. And he's a young corner. You have you have the defense came together. And it's like you have these pieces and you found out some things this year because you let the team develop. But now it's like everybody's like, this team is good, this team is this team is that. You know what the problem is. You know exactly what the problem is. This year, if you look at it as a developmental year, this year worked. You know what the problem is. The problem is Dak, or the problem is Jason, or Scott Linehan, or whoever it is, because whenever the Cowboys do good, it's somebody else's thing. If Jason has a good game calling, then it's Scott Linehan, or whatever the situation is with them calling. If somebody has a bad game, then so and so called all the plays. They kind of play hot potato with the play calling there. So it's like, you know what the situation is. Now next year or this coming off season, solve the problem. Now you know you have a top 10 defense now when healthy. Van Der Esch is a problem, period. He's a very good and very athletic linebacker, and he's a ball hawk. You have a good secondary, a good young secondary, which they've never had before.
Yeah.
Okay? Now you have a defense now. We know Zeke's probably a future Hall of Famer if they don't run this dude into the ground and he stays healthy. You know what you have now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's like, okay, what do you want to do now? Because the division is theirs. They've proven that defensively this Cowboys team, the defense can carry the Cowboys. They proved that this year, by accident, mind you. So now you know what to do now. The problem is offense. And it ain't a receiving core. It's not a receiving core. It's not your running game. Fix your tight end problem. Fix your play calling problem. Because I've been saying for years, Jason Garrett can't coach his way out of a paper bag. But for some reason, they feel the need to keep him. So, okay, you felt the need to keep him. You, by your own admission, by working where you used to work at, say him and Dak don't really click well. So it's we decide to let Dak go and do his thing, or we let Jason go, or as Jesse Holly stated, bring somebody else in and let Dak know your job ain't safe.
Yeah.
But watch. You know what's going to happen? Nothing.
What's going to happen?
Not a damn thing.
Exactly.
Nothing. Because what's going to happen is, and I'm not even speaking as a Cowboy fan. I'm speaking as a person that knows Cowboy fans. I got family that's Cowboy fans, and and depending on where I'm going to be next year, this is probably going to be a Bears and Cowboys podcast next year. Okay?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that now, but it'll be more so if I move back to Dallas. Okay? What's going to happen is the management is going to think this is a successful season because a panic move worked out and you lucked up with a good defense. Okay? So Jerry's going to be like, oh, this is a successful season. And you know it wasn't a successful season. You know, dude, you know what the Cowboys are? The Cowboys are the Jaguars. You know what? You know why I say that? Because this is the year that the Cowboys almost had a special season, and everybody thinks that the offense is awesome, and we only got to do. And Dak's our guy. Management's gonna be like, Dak's our guy, Jason's our guy, and then the next year is gonna be 7-9 again, and everybody's gonna be like, what happened? When you have a defense that's an elite defense. When you have a wide receiver, a rookie wide receiver who's an elite wide receiver, and you have Amari Cooper worked out. But remember, there's a reason that people had questions when Amari Cooper got to Dallas. Because Amari Cooper has some good seasons and he has some average seasons. So we don't really know what you have. Like today was one of them. There are games where Amari Cooper is missing. Why is that?
You know what though, man? I'll say this is that, you know, they went into the game not sure what they had a plan, okay? But the plan that
it failed bad. It didn't work.
Yeah, the plan that they had didn't work out. And they were trying to come up. You could tell like they were changing plans on the fly.
Which they do. Which they do all the time. They do that all the time, Minyon. Every game damn near.
Yeah, they were changing the plan. They were changing the plan on the fly. Okay, guys, that's not working. Come on, let's put Zeke out in the pass. Let's get him downfield. Let's stretch the field.
And you know what? I have no problem with that. Because what did I say? What did I say the last show we did? In order for them to be successful, Zeke has to have like 75 yards in the passing game, and he needs to run for 150 yards. He needs that.
They did it too late.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
They did it too late. And one of the things that stood out to me is that I don't care. As far as Dak goes, Dak missed. I mean, he missed some passes there, man. That just.
What are you looking at?
He should have.
Bro, there was an interception that he threw directly at a linebacker, and the linebacker dropped the pass, and it was right there. And I'm like, he's reading your eyes. What are you doing? Are you not seeing the dude jump the route? He's reading the screen. He's looking right at your eyes. Why are you throwing the ball there? Did you not see that gigantic linebacker that eclipsed your receiver? What are you doing?
Yeah,
that's my problem with him. Look at what you're doing.
You know what, though? He didn't make his reads, man. And
he never does.
Another thing that hurt him tonight, Beasley wasn't playing. I mean, I know his ankle. I mean, I personally couldn't believe Beasley wasn't playing. Beasley
played. He just didn't. Beasley played.
I know he played, but he didn't play. Okay, I know he got in there with I know he got in there. I saw his number. But I didn't see the sauce do anything.
He was coming off of an. Okay, I'll give you that. But what I'll say to that is he was coming off an injury, and everybody knows he was coming off an injury. And before the game, they were saying that Beasley didn't practice the whole week. Okay, so so the coaching staff. This goes back to coaching. The coaching staff knows that Beasley ain't playing. The coaching staff also know it ain't, dude. Beasley ain't your main guy. Your main guy is Cooper. Your actual main guy. I've been saying it this for the whole season. Your actual main guy is Gallup. Okay, the main guy that everybody's like, oh, he's the X receiver. Okay, Amari's your X receiver. Beasley is coming off of a pretty bad ankle sprain. He didn't play. They put him out there. You know he's coming off of injury. Why are you not adjusting to anything? You're not adjusting to anything.
Where was Tavon Austin?
Not there.
See?
But that's a coaching thing, though. That's what I'm saying.
They weren't, to me, they just weren't ready. They didn't have their weapons ready in this game. They didn't.
Tavon Austin had 1 target, 1 reception, -2 yards. That's Tavon Austin. That's his game today.
See? But see, the Cowboys, at the bottom line is the Cowboys, they had that loss coming, man. Because it showed all season.
They didn't, bro. They didn't. That's the thing. They didn't. They could have won that game. Now,
see, that's the word. That's the word right there.
Could have.
That's the word. Could have right there. Could have and if. Could have and if. That's it.
I sound like the cowboy homer trying to get you off the ledge. I sound like the damn cowboy homer trying to get you off the ledge, bro. Like, cause dude, they jumped out to a 7-3 lead, and then they couldn't do anything for the second quarter. They couldn't do nothing, and they just let LA just hit 17 on them.
Yes,
and they still was able to. They was able to kind of hang in there on the third quarter. It's just like they have yet to play a complete game yet.
I agree.
So
I think
it's just, and what the game that I watched today before the Cowboys, the Chiefs and the Colts. The Colts act like they didn't want to be there, and the Chiefs was like, all right, we'll figure this out.
Still.
Huh?
The Colts couldn't stay still. I mean, they I don't know. They had like 9 penalties for offside.
Their offense couldn't do anything. Their offense couldn't do anything until late. I mean, until later. Like I told you, it was going to be a 3-touchdown deficit when they won that game, and I was right. I didn't know it was going to be that, and it wasn't even like KC was. They were dinking and dunking and running the ball, man. And it just seemed like Indy just didn't want to be there. It was snowing. Maybe the snow, because there's a snowstorm in the Midwest that hit the Midwest this morning, and maybe they didn't want to be there. But dude, it didn't seem like Indy had any type of. You talk, the Cowboys didn't have any fight. Indy didn't have anything, bro. It was bad.
Well, I'm already picking Kansas City to go to the Super Bowl.
That's a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to go to the Super Bowl. It's going. Obviously, I'm picking Kansas City. Kansas City's going to the Super Bowl, and it may be Kansas City Saints or Kansas City. Heck, you can be Kansas City Rams again.
Kansas City Rams again. Yeah. We're gonna revisit.
I'm not gonna count the Saints out though.
I need now. As much as I would have liked to have seen a championship game of Cowboys and Philly, and then you stomp the crap out the Eagles, I need New Orleans to end Nick Foles' Cinderella story. I need that to go away.
It just might happen.
So So yeah, as we said on the last show, what I thought was going to happen with this game actually happened. I didn't think the Cowboys were gonna lose like this. I thought it was gonna be an air assault, but they were just like, we just gonna ground and pound y'all and see what happens. And that's what they did.
Right.
And then I still got New Orleans going up against Philly. Like, I don't want to see Philly at all. Like, it was fun with the idea of the Cowboys versus Philly, but now that the Cowboys are out, I need New Orleans to dispatch of the Eagles, please.
Exactly.
And then we'll go from there. So,
that's it.
But yeah, man, like you said you got New England for tomorrow, right? Against the Chargers?
Yes.
Yeah, I still think the Chargers are going to pull that out.
Wait a minute. No, Chargers.
Oh, so you got the Chargers?
Yeah.
I thought you had New England. Okay. You got the Chargers. All right, so we both picked the Chargers for tomorrow at noon or noon 05, and we both picked the Saints, right?
Right.
All right, bet. So yeah, this is we're giving the predictions again, but this is the Cowboys pod, the Cowboys Rams aftermath pod, because like homie Minyon needed to vent. Cowboys lose 22-30. Yeah, man, it's season's over. So we have less to root for, really. I just need to see Philly get punched in the mouth. So what do you do now? I gave my plan about what to do during the off season. You either decide who you want. Do you want Jason or do you want Dak? Because one of them two got to go for me.
I just think it's right now. I think I'm gonna have to really evaluate this season, because I don't see Jason going anywhere. I don't see him going anywhere.
I don't see him going anywhere either. But we have to. We wishful thinking. So do we let is Dak?
Both of them are staying.
So you're saying it is your belief that Dak Prescott is going to get signed to? Do you franchise him? Does he have a year left on his deal?
They'll come up with some kind of deal for him.
So
I'm not sure what it is, but Jason and Dak Prescott will be returning next year.
Oh boy! All right. Yeah. So do you bring in?
If anybody goes, it'll be Linehan.
That doesn't solve anything.
Nope, it doesn't. It's the Cowboys.
Doesn't solve anything. I mean, they were talking about the jumbo package today, like one of the plays on the jumbo package today where it failed, and they were saying how in the jumbo package, the tight end is a blocker, and you're not winning. And they tried to run that play directly in the heart of their best defensive player, and it didn't work. And they were like, "Yo, man!" And the dude was saying on the post game show, I can't think of the other dude's name, but he was like, "Why are you running that play right to their best defender? That play doesn't work anymore. Stop running that tight end as a blocker thing. And that hasn't worked in years." And I gotta agree with him, man. So if you're saying that Dak and Jason are staying because we know Jerry, then basically this is what they're gonna be.
Yeah.
Let's hope everybody gets healthy. Let's hope everybody has an amazing run, and let's see what happens in the playoffs. This is what the Cowboys are gonna be.
That's it.
So.
Yep. I just don't see it happening.
Anyway, man. Well, Minyon from the Rant.
I'm serious. I'll have to digest this and start off Monday firing shots. I'm still pondering this.
Still pondering that?
Yeah, I'm still pondering this.
Real quick, man. Looks like your boy Chris Richard is still gonna be a Cowboy. They
I love that. I love that.
The Dolphins have they've kind of narrowed their focus to the New England secondary coach.
Awesome. I'm glad.
Chris is going to be.
Leave us alone.
So yeah, Brian Flores as their new head coach. Chris interviewed during the off week, but it seems like they're narrowing their focus to one of the Patriots defensive play caller. So yeah, especially with this defense, I'm pretty sure with this defensive showing, I'm pretty sure that everything will be fine.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
All right, man. So thanks for getting this out, man. We're gonna do it again.
We have to.
All right, man.
All right, later.
Later.